They're from Leeds, and they originally formed in 1996. They're known as indie rock. I've just looked at my notes, and I've actually done a misspelling, and it says poop rock.
Was it though?
Everyone's a critic.
Paging Dr. Freud. Paging Dr. Freud.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Audiophiles. I'm John, here's Andy. For once in my life, I've got something to say. I want to say it now, for now is today. A love has been given, so why not enjoy? So let's all grab and let's all enjoy. More on that later. No. But first, we have a track to listen to today because it's Friday. Yes, it is. Even if you're watching in British summertime. So we are going to tackle a track which has been proffered by one of our wonderful viewers. And case in point is Will Hildebrand 1313, regular visitor to the shores of the Audiophiles. We've got to stop those boats. Anyway, and joking, I'm really joking. And an episode from Margot and the Nuclear Sales, cheeky said so. Skeleton Key, they dropped a suggestion of a band, the Kaiser Chiefs. Every Day I Love You Less and Less. Now, I am very familiar with this track, as I guess a lot of people in this country are. Andy, you are not.
No,
I've heard of the
Kaiser Chiefs several times, but I've never heard any of their stuff, to be honest.
So the flaming baton of ignorance has been passed to you. Got it well. So you're going to go off and have a listen and come back and tell myself, Will Hildebrand, and all the other good folks what you think.
I will do just that.
It's good to see that you've become obsessed.
Right out of the gate.
I got to get this message to the press that every day I love you less and less. And every day I love you less and less. I got to get this feeling off my chest. The doctor says
Okay, I'm going to actually take this back a little bit. So it starts off with that oddball synthy kind of sound, which I don't know, probably because I'm a child of the 80s. I associate with like early Nintendo game sound effects or soundtracks. So whenever I hear that, I'm like, a little slice of my youth. But there's so much more to the song than just that. Obviously, we've got these chugging rhythmic movements, as well as like bright brushstrokes on the guitar as well, as it sort of takes full form and the verse kind of unfolds. And speaking of the verse, you love when a singer cuts to the chase, right? Every Day I Love You Less and Less, title of the track and the opening lyrical salvo of it as well. So yeah, not really pulling any punches here. Loves you less and less. He wants to get, this to the press. Also feeling a bit of probably some clinginess from the other person as, he sees that they've become obsessed. I'm trying to stick with all these rhyming patterns that he used. It's really just the one, the est, but I want to make sure I got them correct. So yeah, and for all those reasons, he reiterates he loves them less and less. Yeah, let's pull this back and kind of let this unfold again.
less and less. It's good to see that you've become obsessed. I
Great harmonies too.
That every day I love you less and less. And every day I love you less and less. I got to get this feeling off my chest. The doctor says all I need is pills and rest. Since every day I love you less and less and less and less. I know, I feel it in my bones. I'm sick and tired of staying in control. Oh yes, I feel a light's upon a wheel. I got to know that's not so much as real. Oh yes, I'm stressed, I'm sorry, I digressed. Impressed, you dressed from SOS. Oh, and my parents love me. Oh, and my girlfriend loves me. Every day I love you less and less.
Okay, one thing I mentioned this. I just want to make sure my real-time observation didn't get cut off by the music, which is more important. But the use of harmonies in this, there's a vowel vocalization. There's that na 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 na, which, you know, when I do it sounds absolutely fucking annoying. But in the context of this song, it sounds really nice. And there's all this, there are all these moving parts to the song, which already has this very progressive movement to it. It's, you know, the chugging rhythm, the quickened tempo, and to shoehorn in here all these harmonies pretty seamlessly. You know, hats off to them for capturing that. Yeah, this has a lot of sort of kinetic energy to it. This whole song. So yeah, let's pull back for what sounds like the next verse.
Every day I love you less and less. I can't believe once you and me did sex. It makes me sick to think of you undressed.
I can't believe that you and me did sex. Phrasing it that way makes it harder and harder to believe that it actually occurred. If you ever refer to it as having done sex, it's red flag instantly.
Since every day I love you less and less. And every day I love you less and less. You're turning into something I detest. And everybody says that you're a mess. Since every day I love you less and less and less and less. I know, I feel it in my bones. I'm sick and tired of staying in control. Oh yes, I feel a light's upon the wheel. I got to know what's not and what is real. Oh yes, I'm stressed, I'm sorry, I digressed. Impressed, you dressed to SOS. Oh, and my parents love me. Oh, and my girlfriend loves me. Oh, they keep photos of me. Oh, that's enough love for me.
I'm getting strong Lovejoy from this, actually, which is interesting because I didn't think I was going to be getting shades of that. But this portion reminds me a bit of Lovejoy.
They keep photos of me. Oh, that's enough love for me.
So that was like an elongated chorus. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I know the subject matter is obviously, about falling out of love with somebody, probably somebody who deserves it. And that can be a serious topic, but the way that it's packaged and presented here makes it actually kind of fun and funny, even if it is relatable. Um, I know some people find it hard to find humor in certain situations, but for a lot of us, it's a nearly universal coping mechanism. And there is humor even in these kind of situations, and I found it in this. And there were times where I just found myself smiling, and while still either relating to a certain degree from a personal perspective, or at least knowing friends and folks that have been in these kind of relationships as well, and they've needed sort of this emergency escape hatch. Um, so yeah, it makes sense. I think it's relatable. I really loved the. There were times where the rhythms were chugging, and that was probably the most prevalent um, presentation of the rhythms, but there were also these stabby bits, dot, 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 very staccato-y. The keys there toward the end were an obvious example of this. But there were also these lovely little, perhaps delicate is too strong of a word. Too strong of a word, delicate. But perhaps it wasn't. I wouldn't go as far as to say it was delicate, but there were these nice touches on the guitar as well during, I believe it was the verse in this song, or the verses in the song, that I really enjoyed as well. Had to sift a little bit to find them, but they were there to enjoy. The harmonies were pretty fabulous in this as well, timed and executed perfectly. Which is, not as easy as it might sound just on, a kind of just a blind listen, but to get all of those moving parts in there and syncopated and as lush as they were in this is a feat, a musical feat in and of itself. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I found it fun, I found it funny, and I also found it fairly musically, interesting, if not groundbreaking. They did everything really well, so even if it's a thing that you've heard before, if it's done well, you have to appreciate it, right, or at least recognize it. So yeah, this is a really good listen, very interesting listen, and I gotta say we've covered songs of this subject matter on this channel before, so I could see how this was offered up to us, given that it's subject matter not foreign to the channel. And yeah, I gotta say that I did pick up on shades of Lovejoy in this. Whether it's Normal People things or any of the other tracks that we've done on here, there was something in there that made my brain go right to Lovejoy. So I thought that was kind of interesting too. But I'm sure that John will have done his research. And Will, if you want to chime in with anything, or any of you guys out there that know this band and this song better than I do, which is probably plenty of y'all, feel free to drop your comments down below. But I really, I thought this was interesting. I'd love to hear what John has to say about it. So let's run back to him, shall we?
Daisy Duke is back. So you've listened to Every Day I Love You Less and Less by the Kaiser Chiefs. Na 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 na. What do you think of it?
Well, as the name would suggest, we were getting a love song, but not from the point of view of falling in love, but from the POV of someone firmly falling quickly out of love, which is always an interesting subject. Which songs on this channel that we've covered have themselves covered before. I mean, we've talked about plenty about these sort of toxic relationship songs, and to an extent, Skeleton Key has some of that going on. So it's interesting and makes sense why this song would get, offered up in the comments field of that one. So, yeah, as far as aligning with subject matter, great shout, Will. And I'll say that this song was a lot of fun to listen to. It was nothing crazy or structured in a way that I haven't heard before, or even covered subject material that I've never heard before, as I just mentioned. But that doesn't make it any less fun. And it's got all of the energy to kind of back that up, as well as the song has got gobs of it throughout each portion of it, really. So all of it made it very engaging. from pretty much rip all the way until the end. So yeah, it was a pretty good tune, and I enjoyed the listen. Right out of the gate, we get this very early days Nintendo video game soundtrack. I know I make that analogy all the time when I've got some rudimentary synth or keys going on, but I am a child of the 80s. So that will always be sort of my my first line of relation when I hear something of that. Um, so yeah, a bit of noodling on that, accented by on the downbeat by the more conventional instruments in the band before the drums fully kick off and the song proper takes shape. Um, and from here, our singer joins in, and oh boy, it appears we've got a classic case of trouble in the relationship department as he opens up with the title of the track, "Every Day I Love You Less and Less." So it's clear to see that oh, pardon me. He then follows up with, "It's clear to see you've become obsessed. I've got this message. I've got to get this message to the press that every day I love you less and less." This is the opening stanza. So there's no real gray area here where our narrator stands. Um, so it would appear, yeah, he's quickly falling out of love with whoever this other individual is. Musically speaking, there are some really pretty little touches of brushstroke guitar. These sort of picked out guitars or gently strummed guitars that kind of work behind and fly in the face of all this rhythmic energy in the verses, the whole song really. But it made catching glimpses of them that much more fun and enjoyable because they were sort of counterintuitive to everything else that was going on, which maybe even though they were buried in the mix is what made them stand out, because they kind of were going against the current of the rest of the song. Our singer echoes more of the same sentiment whilst conveying that he needs to get this off his chest and that he's been prescribed medication from the doctors to help him cope with these feelings. And I'm just paraphrasing here for the sake of not falling into the same rhyming pattern that he did. And at times, his delivery is complemented by these ahs and other harmonizing vocalizations from his fellow bandmates. The beat picks up slightly before the unless portion, and the song sounds just a tad more urgent and frantic. Not that it lacked any urgency or freneticism going into this, but it is just turned up one dial. Then the song shifts to this fast chugging portion, which the singer offers up. "Oh, and my parents love me, na 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 na," all these nas. "Oh, and my girlfriend loves me, oh," and more of those nas. And as this portion ends, the music cuts out, save for the synth line. But this lasts only a fleeting moment as the singer begins the next stanza of the verse, and the rest of the band joins back in on the second line. Speaking of the second line of the stanza, he hits us with a real doozy. I laughed out loud and had to stop and make an observation. "I can't believe once you and me did sex," which couldn't sound more like the words of someone who has never done sex. Mostly because no one ever refers to it as doing sex. I mean, I believe him, but he isn't exactly making it easy on me. So just whenever you no, like, no, I've done sex with a girl, just sounds like the most bullshit line ever. So yeah, I kind of guffawed there. This verse plays out very much like in the earlier iteration, as he continues to illustrate this feeling of frankly being repulsed by his other half. He is made sick by the thought of her undressed. Yikes. And he comes right out and says that this person is turning into someone that he detests. And he even and that even others are calling this individual a mess. So it's not just him that's noticing at this. In fact, it might be him that is or he that is late to the party. The slight shift returns, and we get another round of the unless pre-chorus bit with no real change to the lyrical content. The chorus then comes back around, and this time it is not only elongated, as it adds two more lines of like, "Oh, they keep photos of me, na 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 na," and "Oh, that's enough love for me, oh," and then more of those nas. There's a lot of energy to this portion, really, in the whole song. But I really keyed in on the drums during this chorus, and I loved the rolls, and again, this word frenetic, and that to describe its energy that they provided in this portion. Then the song reins it in a bit as this oddball synthy portion takes center stage and sort of held up against a simple beat and these interesting sound effects slightly back in the mix. I don't know, they were like I don't even know how to describe them. The sounds they're obviously clearly manufactured. Um, then there's another sound around the 235 mark, and I again don't even know how to describe it other than to say it sounds like what people in the 70s or 80s associated with what sci-fi sound effects should sound like. This gives way to some slight static-like sound as the beat grows more urgent and the singer ramps up to near screaming levels of indiscernibility as things get extra manic in this crescendo. And this pays off in a culmination of one final chorus as the keys and drums and the na na na's pound away, just stabbing at the soundscape until the song comes to an end with a little bit of this like reverby resonance. Yeah, this one had plenty of fun energy, and I couldn't help but laugh at the way he presented his end of relationship song. It seems like he was really pleading to get the hell out of Dodge, and I think that there are plenty of folks out there who've had this sort of come to Jesus moment of realization in past relationships. So there's some relatability to this song, even if not from the listener directly. The listener probably knows somebody who dealt with a similar situation, so there may be 1 or 2 degrees of separation from the listener and the sentiment, but it still exists. Also, and what was odd is that I don't know at what point in the song it struck me, but I remember thinking that this may have influenced Lovejoy because there were parts of this song that reminded me, I think, of Normal People Things by Lovejoy, and there were shades of some similarities there. And I thought that that was interesting. Like maybe perhaps that I don't know if it was a happy accident or perhaps one was influenced by the other. My assumption is that Kaiser Cheese would have had to have influenced the sound of Lovejoy, not vice versa. But nonetheless, tell me some more about this stuff, John.
Interesting. Thank you, Andy. My two pence worth on this song is this is probably the song of theirs that I enjoy the most. Um, I'm not a huge fan of Kaiser Chiefs. They're okay, I guess. They became more and more poppy, pretty successful as well. You know, fair play to them. This is the most post-punky, spiky, choppy, sort of sound which I
Yeah.
love. I think the year before this, Future Heads came out, and I think you can definitely tell the influence, even down to things like the na 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 na's and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but there's nothing new under the sun, as they say. So yeah, I think this is a decent, and this is their third single. And it's, I predicted Riot's pretty good, and then I didn't really like Ruby. It was a massive number one hit, but there you go. So I'll get into it. So Kaiser Chiefs, English indie rock band from Leeds.
Wait, John,
Originally
did you
for
just say I predict a riot? Oh, that was these guys?
yeah.
Okay, okay, yeah, I know that song. Forgive me. Then, let me lift the veil of both, ignorance and, falsehoods. I have heard these guys before, and I know that song, and I probably know the Ruby that you alluded to as well. I just never thought to look up the song. It was just kind of like an indie pop song that I heard and remember vaguely. So,
Sure.
yeah.
Remember, you're still holding the flaming baton.
I,
So,
it's getting hot.
so they're from Leeds, and they originally formed in 1996. They're known as indie rock. I've just looked at my notes, and I've actually done a misspelling, and it says poop rock.
Was it though?
Everyone's a
Paging,
critic.
paging Dr. Freud. Paging Dr. Freud.
Pop punk, alternative rock, and post punk revival. So when they're around 11 years old, Nick Hodgson, Nick Baines, and Simon Ricks met in the same class at St Mary's Catholic High School in Menston, West Yorkshire. After leaving school, presumably a few years later, Ricks and Baines left for university in 1996, whereas Hodgson remained in the Leeds area, meeting both Andrew White and Ricky Wilson. Hodgson, White, and Wilson formed a band, Runston Parva, a deliberate misspelling of a small East Riding of Yorkshire hamlet called Ruston Parva. After Runston Parva failed to secure a record deal, the group reformed as just Parva, and with the return of Ricks and Baines from university. So Parva managed to sign a record deal, However, after the release of an album and 3 singles, Beggars Banquet closed their sort of daughter son label, small product byproduct called Mantra, and Parva were dropped. According to the band's manager, James Sandon, as a drop band, they had become damaged goods. So the band decided they would aim for a long-term record deal and started afresh with new songs and a new name, Kaiser Chiefs. And so the name was taken from the South African football club, Kaiser Chiefs with a Z. And it's the first club of at the time, I believe, was the Leeds United football captain, Lucas Radaby. He used to play for the Kaiser Chiefs. They're all Leeds fans, hence the name. So personnel, Ricky Wilson, lead vocals, Andrew White, guitar, backing vocals, Simon Ricks, bass, backing vocals, Nick Baines, keyboards, piano, synth, organ, all things keyboard related, I guess, and Nick Hodgson, drums and backing vocals. So don't let Baines near the microphone, he's the only one. The group's debut album, Employment, was released in March 2005. The album was well received by critics and it charted at number 3 in the UK charts. But almost a year after its release, it went back up to number 2 due to the band's success at the Brit Awards. So Employment, the album, went on to become the 4th best-selling album in the UK that year, and has now been certified 7 times platinum.
Jesus.
So a couple of million units there. So pretty big in terms of UK sales.
Yeah.
In 2005, Employment was shortlisted for the Mercury Prize. Bookmakers actually made it favourite to win, but they eventually lost out to Anthony and the Johnsons. But in 2006, Employment won the Ivan Novello Award for Best Album. On Metacritic, the album scores 78, indicating general favourable reviews. Rolling Stone gave it 4 out of 5 stars and said danceable art punk gems full of guitar fuzz, na-na-na-na choruses and boyish energy. Mojo, 4 out of 5 stars, employing ill-fitting suits, tongue-in-cheek lyricism, and a jerky guitar attack that smelts the classic rock canon into an infectious, head-spinning punch. So the track you listen to, Every Day I Love You Less and Less, is the opening track on the album, and it was released as the 3rd single in May 2005. The song peaked at number 10 in the UK singles charts and number 1 in the UK indie charts, and as a single itself is also certified platinum. The singer Ricky Wilson described the song as a hate ballad and added, usually bands release for their 3rd single a love ballad, but we decided to do the opposite. It's for anyone who ever split up with someone and they don't leave you alone. So it got me thinking, just literally in the last few minutes, I should have done more research on it, but I was thinking, is that really the case, that the band's 3rd single is a ballad? So I looked at the Beatles, and it's From Me to You, but I guess pretty much every Beatles song's a love song for the first 2 years. But what I'm thinking of, like, really struck me was Frankie Goes to Hollywood. I had 3 number ones, the first 3 singles in the UK, Relax, Two Tribes, and then The Power of Love, which is an over-the-top awesome ballad, actually.
Yeah.
One of a few ballads I really like. So it may or may not be a thing, but there you go. Who am I to argue? So lyrics: every day I love you less and less. It's clear to see that you've become obsessed. I got to get this message to the press that every day I love you less and less. And every day I love you less and less. I've got to get this feeling off my chest. The doctor says all I need is pills and rest. Since every day I love you less and less. Unless I know, I feel it in my bones. I'm sick, I'm tired of staying in control. Oh yes, I feel a rat upon a wheel. I've got to know what's not and what is real. Oh yes, I'm stressed, I'm sorry, I digress. Impressed, you dress to SOS. And oh, my parents love me. Na 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 na. Oh, and my girlfriend loves me. Oh, na 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 na. Every day I love you less and less. I can't believe once you and me did sex. It makes me sick to think of you undressed. Since every day I love you less and less. And every day I love you less and less, you're turning into something I detest. And everybody says that you're a mess. Since every day I love you less and less. Unless I know, I feel it in my bones. I'm sick, I'm tired of staying in control. Oh yes, I feel a rat upon the wheel. I've got to know what's not and what is real. Oh yes, I'm stressed, I'm sorry, I digress. Impressed, you dress to SOS. And oh, my parents love me. No. Oh, my girlfriend loves me. Oh, they keep photos of me. No, 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 no. Oh, that's enough love for me. Oh, no, 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 no. And then go into the keyboard solo. And we come out with, oh, my parents love me. Oh, my girlfriend loves me. Oh, they keep photos of me. Oh, that's enough love for me. Lots of oohs and lots of na 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 nas. So there you go. Yeah, it's as he said, it's simple sort of, I hate you.
When
I
he's
just find that real.
referencing like my parents love me, my girlfriend loves me, I wonder if the girlfriend is the new girlfriend or a reference to the person that he's describing throughout the track. Because every day I
This
love you less and less suggests that they're still in something, and that he's falling out.
it's childish, is what it is.
That too, that too.
And so because of that, you can say, well, my parents love me and my girlfriend loves me, and that means I'm all right. There must be something worthy about me. What it's also kind of saying in inference is, what he says about you won't leave me alone and whatever, but it's really, why don't you love me like you used to? I think is what it's really saying, but anyway. So Kaiser Chief's second album, Yours Truly Angry Mob, released in February 2007, it reached #1 in the UK albums chart and number 45 in the Billboard 200 albums chart. The album went on to be the band's second million seller, certified double platinum. Ruby, the album's lead single, became Kaiser Chiefs' first and only #1 single in the UK. The band have released a further 6 studio albums, all top 10 in the UK charts, with 2014's Education, Education, Education and War, their second #1 album. And their latest release, Kaiser Chiefs' Easy 8th album, came out in 2024 and hit the #6 spot. So they're still doing all right. Of the band, the singer, Ricky Wilson, is the most prominent one. And there was a time when he was all over the place, I think, when they first hit big. He also, he was he the original? I think he was in the original version of the UK's version of The Voice. He was a judge in that when it first started on the BBC.
Okay.
And then he hightailed it to do another album or tour or whatever. Yeah, so that's the Kaiser Chiefs for you. Yeah, I think as they progress through, and I'm not listening to the recent stuff, it could be completely different. It could be, Belgium jazz, 1960s style. I doubt it. But they become more and more sort of poppy and mainstream, which, it pays the bills, and, there's no criticism there for doing that. But I think this early iteration was for me, more interesting.
And this was the album, this was the debut album that preceded the album that had both Ruby and I Predict a Riot on it.
Interesting you should ask, because I Predict a Riot I just looked it up, it was the second single off the album. So there you go. You learn something new every day.
Okay, so I've heard one track off this, well, now two, but going into this, I had heard the one track, and then I heard a track off the subsequent album, and then I kind of lost track of these. Hell, I didn't even know who I was listening to. I didn't know that they were the same artist, for that matter. But yeah, that's interesting.
Been there,
again,
done that.
This takes me back to those bartending days, because both those tracks were ones that would come on, and honestly, I wasn't like tuned in, but they were like a little kick in the pants, like, all right, get moving, start mixing, because they have that energy about them. And this obviously had a lot of energy as well. So there's definitely some similarities across the three tracks in that regard. So that's interesting. I'll have to go back and see how I feel about those songs, because I haven't listened to them in, God, it has to be 10 years at least for both of those other ones. So yeah, interesting stuff. A good shout,
Cool.
Will.
Yeah. Thanks very much, Will, for suggesting this. I'll wrap things up. So, folks out there, please let us know what you think about this song, and do hit the like button if this pleases you in some way, like a Roman emperor. Although no one gets killed on screen. But yeah, we'd love to hear your thoughts as well. Please drop your comments, and also if you haven't subscribed already, please do. We really appreciate everybody to support the channel, and it all goes to help in the mix. If you're thinking, come, he's got one of these tracks on this bleeding channel and stuff, Governor, then it's very simple. Just drop a comment in any episode, and provided that we haven't both heard from it, like someone suggested, Porter said recently, that we both know very well, so we wouldn't do anything by them.
Yeah.
But if it's something that at least one of us hasn't heard, we'll add it to the list, and then we will get to it. sometime.
Eventually. Yeah.
Yes, eventually. So that being said, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see all of you on the next episode of the Audiophiles.
See you later, guys.